So last video was very controversial, as I predicted, so this time I want to do something a little bit more fun. I'm going to tell the story of the longest gaming session that I've ever had in one sitting. It's going to be a pretty embarrassing story, so I don't know if I should share it, but I'm going to do it anyway, because why the hell not? I've had a lot of long gaming sessions before that have gone on for way too long. Like, there were a few times where I would just play nothing but Mass Effect or Fallout 4. I was really addicted to that game back in the day. I would play those games literally 16 hours a day, no breaks, and I would eat food, but I would eat it while I was playing the game. These are some really low points in my life where I used video games as an escape from everything that was going on around me. I was kind of in a denial stage about what was happening to my life, so I used video games to kind of get away from that. And it was bad enough that not only was I playing games like Mass Effect 16 hours a day, but my sleeping schedule was so fucked up because this was a time when I wasn't in school. I didn't drop out or anything, but I was like on a break and I didn't really go out and see friends. So my play session, my schedule would be wake up at 5 p.m. That's right. I would go to bed at 9 a.m., wake up at 5 p.m., and play until 9 a.m. So 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., 16 hours a day. That's what I did for like 2 weeks in a row, so it was really fucked up. But the crazy thing is, that isn't even the longest play session I've ever had in one sitting. That would actually have to go to a game called Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. And it's one of those things where I can't really explain why it happens. Like, with my Mass Effect addiction, my Fallout 4 addiction, it was just depression, and I was just trying to, like, escape from everything. But the reason why I played Viva Pinata for 20 hours straight, honestly, I can't explain it to you, because I wasn't really depressed back then. This was, like, back in the summer of 2015. So, I had friends, I had, like, a lot going on, but it was just one of those days where, you know, your friends are all busy, or they can't hang out with you. So, I just had nothing to do that day. So, I'm like, you know, fuck it. I'm gonna play some Viva Pinata. I don't know why, like, how that came into my mind. There were so many other games I could have played, but I was feeling in the mood for some Viva Pinata. I mean, as a kid, I loved Viva Pinata. I remember when I got my Xbox 360 arcade back in 2008 for the first time. My mom actually won it in a raffle, so she didn't even buy it for me. It was like a raffle winner. So she, like, went to one of those parties where, like, you know, all the adults go to it. It was in my elementary school, and you all put in money into a raffle, and the grand prize at that party was the Xbox 360 arcade. And it didn't come with any games, so the only game I had was, like, the welcome disc, the Xbox 360 welcome disc. If you guys remember that back then, it had, like, a whole instruction video on how to use your Xbox 360. And it also had a bunch of arcade games to go with your Xbox 360 arcade. It had Frogger, there was a game called Boom Boom Rocket, which was kind of like a rhythm game, and there was also Pac-Man. There was a bunch of arcade shit that came with that disc, but there were also some demos as well, and one of those demos was the original Viva Pinata game, and I remember my 10-year-old self just falling in love with Viva Pinata. Even though it was only a demo, it wasn't the full game. The way it worked is that they gave you a taste of what the full game would be like. I think it was like up to level 10 or whatever it was. They cut you off. You weren't allowed to play it anymore. But to get to level 10, it took a lot of work, like building up your garden and, you know, like feeding all the animals and doing whatever. So it took a long time. Like, I couldn't just do that all in one sitting. So what I would do is that I would leave the Xbox console on, because you can't save progress in demos. So I would leave the console on for like fucking days, so that I can get to that point, and then when I found out that I can't actually finish the game without buying the full game, I was really upset. But hey, it was a demo, so I shouldn't have been surprised. So I eventually bought the game, like, not too long after that, because I love the game so much, I wanted to keep playing it, so I got my mom to take me to GameStop, and I found, like, a used copy of it for, like, I don't know, 10, 20 bucks, whatever it was. And I just have a lot of great memories with that game. It was just, it's so simple in concept. Like, you have these piñatas that you put into your garden, and you build homes for them, and you build off your garden, and it's a lot more satisfying than you would think, like, just watching the gameplay. Like, it feels very, therapeutic, I guess you could say. And it's so easy to just get lost into it. And eventually I would get around to getting the sequel for Viva Pinata, which was called Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise, and I loved that game also, but I guess over time I kind of forgot about Viva Pinata, especially once I got my PlayStation 3 not too long after, and my gaming taste started to change. Like, I started to become more of like a Call of Duty person than, you know, into the little E-rated kid games. So I'd forget about Viva Pinata for years, and then one day, this is, you know, going into the future, whatever you want to say, to the summer of 2015, where I was bored, I had nothing to do, I saw a copy of Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise lying around. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember, I loved that game when I was a kid. It's been so many years since I played it. Why not just pop it into the 360 and just see how it is? Why not? I have nothing else to do. I remember the exact day, because there wasn't much that happened that day. It was just Viva Pinata. But here's what happened. It was like 10 a.m. that I got up in the morning. I ate breakfast or whatever. And then it was like around 11 a.m. where I decided to play some Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise. And it wasn't until 7 a.m. the next day when I was finished. So it was 20 fucking hours of me just playing Viva Pinata. No breaks. I would stop to get food here and there, but for the most part, I was just into Viva Pinata, and that's all I fucking did from 11 a.m. to 7 a.m. the next morning. It was crazy. It really was. But I just got lost in the game, and I had absolutely no concept of time. I didn't even realize how long I was playing until I started playing when it was bright outside. It was nice and sunny, and when I stopped playing, it was sunny again. So, yeah, it was pretty bad. So, that was my longest gaming session. I wanted to know what your longest game session was in one sitting. How long was it, and what game or games did you play? Summonon says, I'm pretty sure I've had like a 6-hour TF2 session. Yeah, my longest game session was a lot longer than that. Like, more than 3 times that of yours. That's pretty crazy. Jazzlike's longest game session was also 6 hours a day, which was Oblivion back in summer of 2020. I love the world, the story, it still aged well in my opinion, even after 15 years. You people are talking about 6 hours being your longest session, I'm talking about 20 hours. I feel like such a fucking loser. Oh my god. But yeah, I never actually got into Oblivion. I got it on the 360 a few years ago, through backwards compatibility, and I just couldn't get into it. I played it for like an hour and put it down and never picked it up again. I really just couldn't get into that game. Morrowind was even worse. I really couldn't get Morrowind because at least Oblivion had like a compass or something, like to tell you what you need to do. Morrowind was like very unforgiving. I never could play that shit. But I should probably give Oblivion another chance because I've heard a lot of great things about it, so that's something I have to do in the future. Angry Mobster says when it comes to long gaming sessions, I would spend 8 to 10 hours or more on double XP weekends for Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3. I was obsessed with the first Black Ops, and from Saturday to Sunday, I would be able to complete a full Prestige in a day or two. Yeah, I knew a lot of people back then in junior high school that would just do nothing but play Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 1 all weekend long. Same thing with Black Ops 2. But there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you're in a party because you are hanging out with your friends just in an online setting instead of just like going out somewhere. It's still hanging out, it's still socializing, right? But even if you're just playing solo, as long as it's time that you're enjoying, who cares? I mean, it's a fucking video game, you're having fun. I didn't really want to hang out with people back in junior high because they were all fucking scumbags, but that's neither here nor there. I don't think I ever put like 8 to 10 hours straight into Call of Duty specifically. I've definitely had a lot of long game sessions back then when I was like 12, 13 years old, back when I was a huge Call of Duty fan, but I think I would probably alternate between different games and not just play one game straight for, you know, the entire day, if that makes any sense. Because I would get bored after a while just playing Call of Duty. Like, I'd play it maybe for like 2, 3, 4 hours max, but after that I'd be like, okay, it's time to play something else, if it was going to be one of those days where I just play video games all fucking day. And I never really cared about grinding out camos and getting prestige. I don't think I ever prestiged in Black Ops 1 or Modern Warfare 2, like back when I played those games in their prime. I just wasn't that invested into it like so many other people were, but I guess we all have different tastes, right? Dr. Daniel316 says that his longest game session in memory was a few weeks ago when I was trying to get all the remaining, like, 8 emblems out of 180 in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on Dolphin. You filthy pirate using an emulator. I believe I was playing for almost 8 hours straight. I started at like 7 p.m. and stopped past 3 a.m. There was another session that was longer where I played the original Splinter Cell for 9 hours straight, but that doesn't count in my opinion, as I took various amounts of breaks and just left the game running. Whereas with Sonic Adventure 2, I was pretty much playing without pauses, aside from getting up to use the bathroom and get food. I actually never played any Splinter Cell games before. I know people keep asking Ubisoft to make another one, so I guess it's really beloved by a lot of people. I've never played a minute of it, so I don't even know how good or bad it is. And as far as Sonic Adventure 2, I played a little bit of it, but I haven't even, gotten that far into it. I never beat Sonic Adventure 2 before. I came close to beating Sonic Adventure 1 on Sega Dreamcast many years ago, but Sonic Adventure 2, I never really played that much. I think the Sonic game I put the most hours into, it was definitely Sonic Heroes. That's my favorite Sonic game of all time. One of my favorite 3D platformers of all time. I got the PC version of that game running at native 1440p. Thanks again, Magnum Master, for getting me the crack. Sonic Heroes is fucking beautiful on PC. But I recently purchased a bundle of Sonic games so I could do reviews for them in the future. Probably on a different channel, not this one. But I have a lot to say about games like Sonic Generations, which I think are very overrated. So I think I'm going to do a review of that one first, and then make my way over to Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, because I have those games on Steam as well. So that's going to be a fun future project. But yeah, your longest game sessions being 8 hours, 9 hours. Me at 20 hours. Wow. No one's even come close to me yet. Well, we got this final comment, though, from the Cheese Man, who says that I spent about 18 hours in one sitting on Red Dead Redemption 2 back in April of last year. Okay, that's better. Someone played 18 hours straight. I played 20 hours straight. I feel a little bit better about doing that, even though it was a really fucking crazy thing to do, to play a game for 20 hours nonstop. But at least there was someone that commented that was close to playing as long as I did. I figured that when I, released that community post that no one was going to come close to what I said. But, I mean, when people are talking about 6 hours and 8 hours, I'm like, oh my god, I really had a fucking problem. And remember, I also mentioned having plenty of 16-hour sessions as well, so I guess there was just something wrong with me. And it's okay if you guys make fun of me in the comment section, because I haven't been like that in a really long time. I don't remember the last time I've come close to having an 8-hour game session, never mind a 16 or 20-hour one. So yeah, it's okay if you guys make fun of me, because you're making fun of me in the past. And if my YouTube content is anything to go by, there's plenty of material when you're talking about making fun of my past self. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.